too. That's fine.
Yo, what up, man? You already know it's your boy Zoe, man. My boy Chad behind the camera, man. Episode 5. We all shine. Started a new year. Got my boy Wang, man. Wang's closet, my boy Ian, man. What up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How was your new year, man?
It was sick, man. It was really cool. We got to hang out with a lot of my family and second family in the industry and everything. A lot of good minds that collaborated this past New Year's. It was a good time. Good time.
Did you do any drinking, anything like that?
Shit. Who didn't? I feel like New Year's is, I don't know. I have a weird philosophy behind it. For the past, I don't know, however long I've been around, it's been, don't get faded on New Year's. That's a bad way to go into the new year. You know, that would be a rough mindset to get into. Right. This past year was different. I feel like 2023 was a bumpy ride. There was a lot of shit going on. I could curse, swear.
Yo, you good, man.
Fuck yeah. No, 2023, it was bumpy. It was definitely a different year for me. I'm definitely transitioning into a more mature mindset, you know. I definitely grew up around a lot of older minds and stuff, so that kind of helped me mature at a younger age. But I don't know, after this past year I was definitely ready to try new things. I got out more, to talk to new people, so this New Year's was different. Right. I'll give it the friendly benefit of the doubt being different, you know.
Yeah. How did you start, man? Are you from Arizona?
Yeah, born and raised. Me and my brothers lived here our whole lives. My mom and dad, my dad's originally from here as well, but my mom was all over the world. Growing up, she had an Air Force dad, so he met my grandma in South Korea, which was where he was stationed. They got married and everything. He traveled to Japan, which he brought the whole family with them and everything. From Japan, I believe they went to, I think it was at New York for a little bit. Yeah. And then
so New York.
Yeah, low key. It wasn't anything fun. It was Plattsburgh, New York.
Okay,
so
okay.
Way out of the city, you know, which is cool. Honestly, I hear it's beautiful, but she wasn't a fan of it. Then from New York, they came to Arizona. I'm probably missing a place, but yeah, that's the geography of my mama. But yeah, born and raised Phoenix.
That's crazy.
How'd you get into fashion? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In the first, because I can just tell by the drip. You know what I'm saying? Not only you got the store going on, but you seem like a fashionable person. How does one find? You know what I'm saying? How you get into fashion, and how does one find fashion in Arizona? Because it's not like this place is necessarily known.
It's not like LA or
No. There's a bunch of different cultures you could look to in LA. I feel like, but I don't know. As of lately, I feel like Arizona, Phoenix specifically, I guess, is definitely on the come up to being another LA. I guess, you know, it's a lot of creatives coming out here and trying new things. And I don't know, back in the day, getting into fashion, my dad had a vintage shop while we were growing up and everything. It was called the Blue Jean Buyer back in I think it originated probably 70s or 80s. He got into it in the 90s and ended up actually selling it to me and my brothers in 2016, I believe. Wow. So we bought the shop off of him. It's Wang's Closet right now. That Wang's Closet used to be Blue Jean Buyer. We were literally infant babies in that shop, and we still work there to this day. So it's been solid. I think my oldest brother's 32 now, so 32 years. 32 years and going, so
it was just made for you.
It was made for us in a way. You know what I mean? It's nothing but blessings. I'm just glad we had the opportunity to move into there. But no, shout out my dad for putting us on game.
Right.
He was definitely always rocking beat up pair of Levi's, cowboy boots, and a dope band tee growing up. That's what we knew our dad for. And obviously, growing up, you wanted what was new. You wanted to go to the mall and shop at Zoomies and Tilly's and all this. But yeah, I mean, growing up, we weren't the most fortunate family. We had to go to the Goodwills and the Savers, half off Monday at Savers. That shit hits. That shit hits. Still to this day, honestly. But yeah, growing up, we really had to, I don't know, get creative to make things work, you know, because we wanted we wanted to be drippy, you know. Everybody wants that, but when you don't got it like that, you definitely have to get creative. So I think a lot of what we do now comes from being a little bit hungry, you know, to see what's next, you know, what can I do with what I have now.
So you weren't, you know what I mean, you didn't get into fashion, you just kind of almost just born into it then.
In a way, you could definitely say that, you know, and I mean, you could take fashion in multiple different directions. You know, you could just rock with it and go into kind of working a normal 9-to-5 job, or you could try to make it your life. And we were, again, very fortunate enough to do that back in like 2016 now.
When did you like? You said 2016 is when you decided to make your life, but you say you know your father's shop originally started off. At what point was it the idea like I want to own this at some time, or you know what I'm saying? Your brother kind of have that decision was like I don't want to just work here, or I want to make this. This is Dad's life at the end of the day, but now I want to make this my life. And you changed the name too, like you know what I'm saying. So like, kind of where was that, thought process of making it your life and then making it your own life? You feel me?
I mean, it really came out of necessity. I would say, like, again, growing up, we weren't like popping off like we are now, which again, I'm grateful for where we're at, but it came out of necessity. My older brothers, granted, when Wang's Closet started, I was like 12 years old. Like I was not even like there enough to be like a helping hand. I would go hang out at the shop with them and just kind of visually see what was going on and know that like this is dope and this is like this is working. Growing up, I look up to my brothers and my father for sure for that, and I use a lot of what I learned back then for what I do now. But it definitely came out of necessity. I mean, my oldest brother, he wasn't really like into the resale game or anything, or like trying to get into fashion like that. Again, obviously he dressed and stuff, but he was in a whole different industry. But he ended up getting knocked out of the industry. Issues happen. You meet bad people. Bad people do bad things is what I'll say. So it was really my my older brother Noah. He was in high school when all that was going down, and we saw this kind of community in LA. We were watching like round two episodes from back in the day. I still watch those shits sometimes. There's an episode of my older brother Noah on round 2 of the show. You could look it up. I forget what episode it was. It's hilarious. But we saw what was popping off in LA and like in New York, and this higher kind of streetwear fashion thing, and we thought it was dope. We wanted to be a part of it. The Supreme was fucking not a household name, but like it was one of those things that you couldn't get here. So anytime we take family vacations to San Diego all the time, one year we made it a point to go to LA and stop by the Supreme store and round 2 and stuff to see what was good. And I didn't get to talk to them, but my older brother Noah and Nate, they got to talk to Sean. They got to talk to him for a while, and honestly that was probably one of the most, like, I would say monumental moments for at least my older brothers, just because he was able to chop it up with them. He was telling us, he was like, I've been to Arizona, it's beautiful, and we pitched the idea. We're like, we really wish like we had something like this out in Arizona. He was like, dude, just do it then. Like if it's not there, then do it. And
that's simple.
I mean, that's really all it took. You know what I mean? Because the shops came out of necessity. We needed to make money, so we thought it was a fun and workable way to do so. And I don't know, I guess hearing that from Sean, it hit home. And seeing Arizona, it really didn't have much of like a resale game,
For sure.
I know us and Thread, AZ Thread, we were like one of the first ones to start doing it out here in 2016. Might have been earlier, might have been a little bit later. I don't even know the exact timeline. It's a blur. But yeah, after that we were like, fuck it. I mean, we're here. Let's buy some Supreme and like start flipping. And they ended up getting a bunch of like good Supreme from the store and from round 2 and stuff, and bringing it out here. And I mean, back in the day, it was literally Wang's Closet. Like, it was in our parents' house. We had a big ass closet in our living room, and that's where we'd keep like inventory and stuff. And shout out OfferUp, shout out Depop for having the platform to do so. We met up with a lot of homies that I still kick it with today, honestly, from OfferUp. They would come to the crib and kind of shop the closet, and yeah, that's where it all started. I would say it was from a literal closet, and
that's fire though.
Kind of expanded beyond that and got into the shop. So
that's fire. What do you feel about now? Like, I guess like with the vintage game from 2016 now, because it's like it wasn't cool to go to the Goodwill. Maybe like I would say before COVID, like before COVID, like I feel like it wasn't cool to go thrifting and vintage. So like now it's like it's more like the Goodwills is just as filled up as the mall. So it's like
that's what I'm saying, bro.
So like how do you know what I'm saying? Like how you feel about, you know what I'm saying? Just like how the game is just transitioned, you know what I mean? Because now it's like, you know, the big celebrities are thrifting now. Like it's crazy. So
it's wild to see, because back in the day, thrifting was like so frowned upon, and like if you were going to Goodwill to get your clothes, you were you're the broke kid, you know. You get made fun of it for like wearing a fucking beat up shirt, but I don't know. Like you said, after COVID, it really started to pop off, and I definitely pay tribute to like a lot of celebrities in the game. Like I know Drake wears vintage, Travis Scott, he definitely put a lot of like younger kids on game with the vintage stuff, and Kanye, obviously a little controversial right now, but he paved the way for a lot of these people and a lot of these newer brands that are popping up. But I think it's interesting to see, you know what I mean? It's weird seeing how like poppin' thrifting is right now. Like almost everything on TikTok right now is like, look at my thrift haul, look what I found at Goodwill, and this and this and that. And it's a really interesting time just because everybody's so connected through those apps, and I feel like seeing, I guess, the success of other people at the thrifts makes people kind of hungry and angsty to get in there and try it themselves, and more of that is happening, and it's just becoming bigger. And I mean, I'm glad we opened up the shop when we did. Right now would be definitely like a really hard time to try to open up another vintage shop. There has been a lot popping up, but yeah, I think we came across it at a good time. It was right before COVID we came up, so again, during that COVID period, there was the trend of vintage clothing. You know, people would go live on like Instagram and stuff, and be selling grails and stuff,
like
and
whatnot. And
whatnot popped up soon after, and I don't know. I think what really made it popular was a lot of people seeing how much money these shirts were selling for on like the Instagram lives. Like there's the $6,000 Genie shirt that kicked things off, and people were like, why the hell was he buying this shirt? Wall Street Journal did an article about it, and that got the eyes of probably millions of people. And
that was crazy.
Seeing what vintage really meant. And to this day, I get people in here that ask me like, is this working? Like what made this happen? And I really can't explain how it happened or anything, obviously, but it's working. You know, it's a trend right now. I think for sure it's definitely popping, but everything's kind of a bubble. You know, it expands and stuff. Streetwear was a bubble. It expanded to the point where it couldn't expand anymore, and it's kind of shrinking down. So there's no way of telling which way vintage will go, but
enjoy it while
enjoy it while it's popping right now, but at the same time, it's never gone anywhere. You know, if my dad could run a vintage shop in the 90s, we could run one in the 21st century as well. You know what I mean? But
for sure. How did you, I know you mentioned COVID. During COVID, what was like, I guess, like, did you have any struggles during COVID? Like, you know what I mean? It was like nobody here. Was it just strictly online and you ain't really miss a beat?
COVID was rough. I'll say COVID was rough for a lot of people, but for smaller businesses like this, we definitely shut down the doors and everything. We were like social distancing and everything, following all the protocols of what we were being told to do. But that was probably one of the most poppin' times to be reselling and shit, because the government was they were fucking giving people like $1,500 a month, and people were like working from home and still like getting their income from their job and shit. So this extra $1,500 that they had laying around was leisure money, you know, that it was like meant to support people, and it did support people. Shout out the government. Not really. But yeah, a lot of people who had it like pretty well off were still getting this money, and the unemployment checks were fucking quadruple whatever they are now or whatever it is. But I think that made a lot of people like dive into different realms because they had a lot of this free time, and that's when TikTok and like Instagram was popping out. So they were scrolling and they saw this vintage thing. You know, it was like, oh, this is dope. I wonder what I could grab from this dude's Instagram. And we were definitely doing a lot of like story sales and stuff through then. But but yeah, we closed down doors and everything. It was rough. You know, not seeing like normal customers come in. It was an interesting thing to get used to. But powered through it, handled it. Had fun here. We still had the shop and everything, so we would do story sales. Me and my brother would kick it here, play some video games on the TV. So we made the best out of a bad situation, I think. And again, I'm gonna say I'm grateful a million times in this, but I'm grateful we had the opportunity to do so, man, because a lot of people were struggling during that time, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun in the grand scheme of things, but it built character. It built us to be who we are today, and
it's like we could get through this. We could get through anything.
High key, that's exactly right, man. That is exactly right.
Not for real.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So before you had the shop, like how was you going, like grabbing your clothes, like your vintage clothes? I know you talking about your streetwear with the Supreme and stuff, but I know you were wearing vintage also. So like, were you thrifting or were you?
It was a little bit of thrifting. Like I would definitely go to Goodwill for like, not necessarily fun, but like I would just like go to get like a flannel or like a new pair of jeans or something, you know. And obviously, I mean, growing up with my dad, he taught me like what was good Levi's and what was bad Levi's. So I always had my eye out. And I still, again, shout out my dad. That's still how I buy to this day. I could age a pair of Levi's like no man, you know. I had the best teacher growing up, but a lot of the vintage stuff was coming to closet because it was still a thing that people were into. It was anybody who like had a strong enough childhood and a strong enough bond to certain things that wanted certain things from that era, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these band tees and stuff, I pay a lot of tribute to who I am, to the music I listen to. My older brother Noah, he put me on the game for fucking every single band I listen to now. Shout out him. I wish he could be here. But yeah, band tees, they built my character. That's something I always looked out for as a kid. But yeah, Wang's Closet back in the day, people would still bring in vintage to trade for streetwear. If anything, that was the most poppin' time to bring in vintage because streetwear was poppin'. And vintage really wasn't. There's a lot of shirts nowadays that, again, go for like $2,000-$3,000, sometimes more. There's a specific example, Nirvana heart-shaped box. We had one back in the day. Ours was $2,500, and that was like the most frowned upon t-shirt in here. Everybody who came like, oh, how much is the Nirvana one? $2,500. They'd be like, scoff, and then continue walk around and end up leaving. But now that shirt, if you have it, you could get 5 bands. 5 bands for the right person, sometimes more. But back in the day, man, it wasn't like that. It was these kids finding it just thrifting, or like at the Goodwill bins. They would find it, they would bring it to Wang's Closet and take like $200-$300 credit. $300 credit for it, and we would sell it for like $4. You know, like it wasn't anything crazy. We weren't trying to like come up off anybody, but if we would have held on to that shit, man, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have certain pieces because there's definitely a lot that have slipped through the fingers, you know. But yeah, a lot of it came through closet. A lot of it came from thrifting. Hand-me-downs were a big thing back in the day. Shout out again, older brothers. I'm the youngest of the 3, so I definitely got all their old shit, and I still rock some of it, you know.
I hear that. How do you balance, you know, Wayne's Closet and outside of Wayne's Closet? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do outside of being in here, and then how do you balance that? Or is this majority, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you. It's a tough balance, honestly. Me personally, I go to school like pretty much full time, so I'm like at GCU like 4 days out of my week, and I try to balance my schedule to get there at like 9 a.m. and try to get out by like 2:45 so I can come here at 4, close up at 8, and have certain days 12 to 8, you know. And it's important being here. I think it's good to have like a recognizable face behind the counter, so I strive to make the time to be here and like to talk to people. And my older brother Noah definitely does too. We try to handle it as best as possible, but balancing time, bro, that's a tough question. I'm still figuring it out. For sure, you know, 'cause on top of school and work full time, you gotta have free time and like hang out with your friends.
Right.
Got a girlfriend too. Gotta make time for her and everything. And it's tough, man. It's definitely tough. But I put in the work now, so I don't have to later.
Right.
I think it's important to stay busy right now. I don't think it's a good idea to stay comfortable in one place. You know, I feel like 2022, 2023, we definitely got comfortable just sitting behind the counter and chilling. We were the vintage shop in Phoenix, you know, but a lot of other ones opened up, so we kind of got to go harder, differentiate ourselves. All love to all the other vintage shops. I'm homies with a lot of them for sure, but yeah, you just got to differentiate yourself, balance your time, keep stress out of your life somewhat. I think stress is kind of a building block to success, but too much stress, that's tough, man, honestly. But yeah, still figuring it out, definitely.
Man, whenever you do, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's an ongoing battle, bro. This is working though. This is dope, man. I like this a lot for sure. It's just good to sit down and talk, you know?
Right.
I do it without a camera every day, you know what I mean? So having it documented, I think that's important, and I like it. I like it a lot, man.
How what would you feel like? Cause you guys buy sell trade here, so it's like, what do you have you ever had like a crazy story where like, you know what I mean, like somebody wanted cash and, you know, you offered them the, you know what I mean, what you offered, you know, they didn't like, and they kind of like You know what I mean?
Yes and no. There's definitely been cases. There's one case.
You're too nice of a guy, man. So it's like somebody, if you lowball somebody, it's like the worst somebody. I mean, they gonna be mad, but you know.
If it's ever a lowball, it's literally like an accident. Because vintage is one of those markets to where you can't know everything. You know, there's 1,000,001 different shirts that I gotta keep my eye out for and know what this is going for online and stuff. So, yes and no. There's definitely been like, not like beef, but just like, kind of like what the fuck was that? Hell? You know. Yeah. But that's why now I always ask, how much you want for this? You know, like what would make you happy is what I usually say. Right. And we kind of go from there. But there's a specific case. Shout out the kid. I hope he sold the shirt. But it was like 2021, maybe 22. He came with this like Toy Story 2 promo T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were for a couple hundred.
It was dope. It was a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Dope, right? He came in with it, and I was here with Noah, and he was dealing with Noah. But I remember this story specifically. There's been a lot of different stories, but this one has stood out. He had a Toy Story 2 promo T-shirt from like the 90s or early 2000s. I forget when it came out, but he came in with it, and Noah was like, "Oh, this is dope shirt. Like, I know these go for money. Like, how much do you want for it?" And we're talking cash, and he was like, "I don't know. I got it from my homie. He gave me a steal. I paid $1,300 for it. So I'm looking for $1,500 cash."
What?
Which is astronomical.
Yeah.
Even back in the day for that shirt, that was maybe selling for like $600, which is a lot still. That shirt now is like, I think maybe $100, $200.
Yeah, that's like $200.
He said, "I want $1,500 cash."
What?
And like straight face, he was like, "That's a realistic number," which I get. I mean, if you're paying $1,300, his homie probably thinks that that's a fair price. But we had to be honest. He was like, "Dude, I would maybe give you like $300." And it was heartbreaking for the kid. He was like, "Oh shit, like why?" And we just had to explain, like, from a shop standpoint, if you have a shirt for $1,500, it has to be like a one of one or like fucking signed by somebody who's like dead or something. You know what I mean? But $1,500 for a shirt that you can now get for $100, $200, that would have been a very poor investment. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to kind of look at some of these things, you know, because markets always fluctuate. You can look at stocks, you can look at the housing market. That shit goes up and down all the time.
How you check the market? Is it like a place you go to, or you know what I mean? Y'all got the vintage black web. You know what I'm saying?
Like, crazy. It's crazy. Honestly, a lot of it now, we've been around long enough, and I've been doing this, I feel like, long enough to kind of just know certain things and know what certain things go for. I could always kind of just like cross-reference it to a shirt I had in the past that might have been similar, or if it was the same exact shirt, I can usually tell people I sold this for X amount back in the day, so I can give you X amount, you know? So I would say a lot of it is from experience. If it is something I genuinely have no clue about, I will usually go to like eBay or like the internet or something. Look at sold listings. You could always look at like listed items, but those will be like for insane amounts. You can find a shirt that's going for like $100, but somebody's listing it for $1,000. You know what I mean? It's a very hard line to draw in the sand. But I would say the most valid way of me doing it is by knowing what I have sold something for in the past, or if I know somebody who has sold the same thing in the past. Being in the game, I've like made a lot of friends that are also selling vintage and stuff. So I see their pages and stuff, and I see what they're selling certain things for. So cross-referencing that, it's helpful in here. You know, it makes things make more sense. But sometimes it is a shot in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, I'll shoot somebody an offer, they'll take it, and I'll have it up for X amount, but somebody will come in and think it's a steal, and they'll buy it and be able to flip it on their end. Just because I didn't do any research and somebody else didn't do any research, you know. So sometimes it's an accidental steal that I will also put out for an accidental steal, but it takes knowing what certain things are to get your money's worth.
Oh, so you intentionally will put some steals out?
Unintentionally.
I was saying intentionally.
We have intentional steals too. We got the $10 bins, and a lot of our stuff nowadays ranges from like $20 to $30, which again kind of is frowned upon by certain people still. But I again look at other prices online and stuff, and in other shops, and feel like 20, 30 is like good middle ground for a t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
you could come in here and get a whole fit for like $50, honestly. Like,
bro, straight up.
Pants, you might get a couple shirts.
I be putting Carhartt pants in the $10 bin, some pretty beat Levi's in the $10 bin.
Facts.
Good vintage pieces from like the 80s.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
calm shirts, $20.
It makes the most sense, man.
Yeah.
Goodwill nowadays be charging more than $10 for a lot of that shit. You'll be walking out of Goodwill spending more than you would be walking out of here.
That's crazy.
Which
Goodwill
is
definitely
crazy.
Got hip to
their shit's donated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their
that shit for
donated.
free.
It's crazy.
They be waxing.
They get their
caught
shit
on
for
to the game,
free, man. I gotta buy my shit.
Yeah.
You know, like when somebody gets a shirt, I see what I bought it for. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's dope. If I got my shit donated, that'd be dope. But it'd be a whole different business model in that sense. But
I guess you know you from Arizona, so it's like, what's like your new plans like for this year? Like, what are you looking to like expand, or are you kind of like want to just? Are you cool where you at right now, or you know what I mean? Like how, like what's next for just the store? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said earlier, we definitely got comfortable behind the counter for a little bit, just because it was working and it was dope, and it's still working. Again, I'm very grateful for what we got going, but you gotta grow. You know, you can't just stay at a level position in life. You know, things keep growing, everything gets more expensive.
Sure.
Fucking inflation is fucking crazy right now, man. Gas ain't cheap. So growth is definitely on our mind this year. We want to get a website going. We have the whole website set up. We just got to get like technicalities figured out and stuff for it. But
so it was through COVID with no website?
Yeah.
How did y'all do that?
Instagram, bro. Instagram story sales. We can't do it anymore, unfortunately. There is some dilemmas with like third party selling on Instagram, which no beef to Instagram, love them, but we had to work a way around that. So it's been in store only, like in store only purchases for the past like year or so, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, it hurt not being able to do those online sales, but that's why we want to get the website jumped in. We have a lot of people out of state that want to get in the shop and like see what we have. So I get at least like one or two DMs a day about like us starting a website. So
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I
that's
think
powerful. Y'all was going crazy with no website.
Yeah.
It's
no
crazy.
Website. Honestly, I think it's like an eagerness thing. People get like, damn, I can't buy their shit.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
It creates like a sense of like almost urgency. Like, fuck, they gotta start a website or something. You know, I want to see what's good. You know, because they see the social media and everything, and I'm the head of that right now, and I try to make it look pretty. You know what I mean? And I think I do a pretty good job at that. So so a website, I think that'll be cool. I don't know what direction we really want to go with it yet. It's definitely going to be informative. It's going to like tell our story. It's going to give history of the shop and stuff. And obviously there's going to be a shopping section, but yeah, definitely early stages of that getting started up. But yeah, I'm excited. That's what we have in mind so far. I want to take it one goal at a time. Hopefully by the end of this month the website is up. Y'all can shop on there if you want. If not, that's cool too. But yeah, one step at a time. I don't know what I want to do by the end of this year. Honestly, I'm not trying to think that far ahead. There's a lot of other shit that we have going on. But yeah, I'm excited.
That's fine.
Good. What's the socials, man? Where can they find all the stuff at?
Wangs_vintage on IG, and I think it is Wangs Closet_ on IG. If you're into streetwear and hype, they're trying to do more designer over there and stuff too. Again, differentiate from the sneakers and stuff. Sneakers are dope. Sneakers are super dope.
For sure.
Only way it's working now is if it's below retail.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's working, and getting stuff below retail is hard right now. So I will say, I'm not saying this just because I work there. Wangs Closet has some of the best deals in the valley.
Facts, they definitely do. I can't lie. They be having mad kicks for like
dog. I don't even get it. I don't work over there too much. As of lately, I've been over there, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy. People are just kind of offing their shit, and getting things for a good price helps us put it out for a good price, and that love gets kind of put forward onto whoever's buying it. But yeah, I think I fucking love Wangs Closet. My oldest brother, he's like the head of over there, Wang.
Yeah.
That's the guy over there, but he's killing it, man. Honestly, he's doing his thing, and yeah, just trying to make that streetwear shit work. It's honestly a lot of the clothes that be moving nowadays. It's still Supreme. it's still Bape. It's these newer brands popping up. Gallery department, not so much newer, but yeah, off-white shirts, chrome hearts.
Chrome hearts for sure.
Yeah. Shit. I can't even get my hands on that. Man. That's it's tough, but yeah, I love me chrome hearts, but yeah, Wangs Vintage, Wangs_Vintage, and Wangs Closet _ hit us up. Let us know if you're in Arizona. Why haven't you been here yet?
Talk to him.
Coming here on vacation. We will show you a good time. I know where the best restaurants are. I know where other vintage shops are, and that is about it.
Let's go!
We all Sean. We outside, man. Episode 5.
Episode 5, man.
Yes, sir. We lit, man. We go.
We live.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Much love. Check us out, man. Check us out.
Wow.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Yes,
yeah. Wow, that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying?